All right, so let's talk about PaaS features and capabilities. We've already covered the idea in platform as a service that Microsoft's going to manage the infrastructure of the operating system. They're going to do patching and maintenance for you. So that still stands. But when you're working with PaaS solutions on Azure, you can typically always scale up or vertically scale a PaaS solution by just picking a different pricing tier, usually a more expensive pricing tier that's going to give you more CPU, more memory, more storage, things like that. So remember, with PaaS solutions, we can easily scale up by changing the pricing tier to something more expensive. Now, in something like Azure App Service, we can do auto scaling. So it's got built-in auto scaling, and we can go in and configure auto scaling rules so it's horizontally scalable. Maybe we want to scale on a schedule, 8 a.m. in the morning, we scale out, scale back in at 5 p.m. Another way to do scaling is based on a metric. So CPU might hit 95% and stay there for 15 minutes. Then we could have a rule say, go ahead and scale out horizontally. So let me go ahead and show you this over in the Azure range here. I'm already in the Azure Compute Sandbox, and I opened the resource group for this sandbox. And in here, I actually have a app service, okay, in this Compute Sandbox. You'll see it right here on the list. Actually, let me zoom in a little bit. So right here, this is the hosting environment for the app service. So the app service plan can have multiple web apps deployed on top of it. So just like you would on a regular web server, like if you're running IIS, you could run 10 websites on an IIS web server. Same idea here. The app service plan is a hosting environment. And if I wanted to scale up to a higher pricing plan, a more expensive pricing plan, I'd get more firepower in terms of CPU memory and things like that. So let's go into this app service plan. And then on the left-hand side, you'll notice that we've got scale up. So that would be choosing a more expensive pricing plan. And we also have scale out, and that would be your horizontal scale. So we covered horizontal and vertical scaling in a previous video, and we were talking about this in the context of virtual machines. But remember, in some PaaS services like App Service, we can do that there as well. So scaling up would just be a matter of coming in and picking a more expensive pricing tier, like I've said. You can see that I'm on an S1 right now. That plan has one CPU and 1.75 gigabytes of memory on the VM. I could upgrade to something like this. I think this is the standard 3, it's 4 vCPUs and 7 gigs of memory. And then you would just pick the higher plan, and then it's automatic. Like there's nothing that needs to be reconfigured in the apps. So scaling up platform as a service offering, very easy to do, and it doesn't really cause too much downtime or anything like that. Very simple. Now, if we went to the left and picked scale out, right, this is where we could come in and set up auto scaling. And when the screen loads here, I could just say, I want to pick rules-based configuration for my scale out method, pick custom auto scale. And then in here, you would have the ability to come down and work with auto scaling conditions. And so that's where you could add a condition for scaling on a schedule or scaling based on metrics like CPU or memory being high. And that's kind of the idea. So remember these features and capabilities in platform as a service.